Ah, my ear still hurts.
You can't always get to the doctor right away, but you don't always need the ER. Meritus Urgent Care. Open 7 days a week, no appointment needed. Just warm, expert medical care when you need it most. Visit our website to see our real-time wait info, then visit the location that works best for you. Meritus Urgent Care, treating the community well.
Welcome back. I'm Chef Joe from Meritus Medical Center here in Hagerstown, Maryland. And today we're making a No Bake Summer Lasagna. In the first segment, we chopped up all of our vegetables and did all our prep work. We've half moon our yellow squash, our zucchini, a red onion, and we halved some cherry tomatoes. We've also cooked off our pasta sheets, which we cut into quarters, and we've chilled them in an ice bath, and we have put them out to sort of dry a little bit. Now we're going to begin to assemble everything. We're going to cook our ingredients. Over here I have our saute pans. They're beginning to heat up over medium heat. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to each pan, about a tablespoon. Pans are nice and hot. When the olive oil becomes fragrant, we're going to cook our ingredients in two different batches. Our first batch, we're going to do the squash and zucchini. There we go. In our next batch, we're going to do our onions and our tomatoes. The tomatoes take very little time. I'm going to sort of add them in here in just a second. We're basically going to do what's called blistering the tomatoes. We want to cook them over a fairly high heat until the skin begins to separate from the flesh of the tomato. It sort of gives them a really nice earthy, sort of citrusy flavor almost. Very good. We're going to add to each pan a little bit of salt. Not a whole lot, a little bit. We're going to be using ricotta cheese in this dish. Ricotta is traditionally a little bit salty, so we don't really need to add a whole lot of salt to our vegetables. But we're going to go ahead and just put a bit in there. Also some fresh black pepper, fresh ground black pepper. 3 or 4 turns of the mill. Okay. As our vegetables begin to cook, we're just going to sort of move them around just a little bit. We don't want them to brown. We just want to saute them. Get them a little bit translucent, a little bit soft. Still a little bit al dente, and they're going to go great in this. Again, lasagna is not baked, so everything's not going to be mushy. We want to have something that's very nice to the tooth. We want to have a lot of flavor. We want to have a lot of juice. We want to have a lot of pop and crackle, but still a lot of flavor. So these are going to go ahead and cook. We're going to work with our ricotta cheese. In the last segment, we julienned up, we chiffonaded a little bit of basil, which I have added to about a half a cup of ricotta cheese. As you can see, and I'm going to stir that in. Again, the ricotta is a little bit salty, but does need a little bit of pepper. We're also going to put in a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese. We're going to use about a tablespoonful. The cheese as well is a little bit salty in its own right, so again, just reinforces the need that we do not need to add any salt to this specific mixture. Now, as you can see, it's just a little bit clumpy. We want it to be a little bit thinner. It's going to spread much easier. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil to that. It's really going to help us sort of thin this out a little bit. The cheese itself is already very rich. The oil will just sort of make it silky. Very nice mouthfeel in our dish. Okay, set that to the side. Our items are doing very well here. Our onions look great. They smell awesome. We're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes. And again, the tomatoes don't take long at all. Once the onions are done, we'll put our tomatoes in. We're going to turn up the heat just a little bit, back up to about a medium high. We're going to do the same thing for our squash and zucchini mixture. Okay, we're going to add just a bit of fresh garlic to each pan. About half a tablespoon to each pan is, or if you're a big fan of garlic like I am, you can put a little more in there. Okay, going to turn those around. We do not want our garlic to burn, so we have to be very cognizant of the fact that that garlic's in there. Once we burn our garlic, we're pretty much shot. It's going to make our dish very bitter. Okay, now, those are going along great. We're going to let those cook. We're going to begin to start our plate. We've got our lasagna sheets here that we have already pre-cooked. They're nice and pliable. They're not too cooked. They're very al dente. They're just perfect the way they are. So what we're going to do, our tomato mixture is looking very good. It's almost done. We're going to put down a single layer of our pasta sheet, but first I'm going to put just a little bit of our ricotta mixture down here. It's going to help sort of glue this first lasagna sheet to the center of our plate. Push it down nice and flat. We're going to do the same thing. We're simply going to spread this out. If you like spice, you can put crushed red pepper in here. This dish is only limited by your imagination. Squash, zucchini certainly are in this recipe. You can put in anything from cauliflower, broccoli, you name it. You can put some fruit in there if you like apples. Wonderful. So we have our first layer down. We are going to go ahead and add some of our squash and zucchini mixture. Again, we're going to put that right on the top. Don't need too much. We're going to add a little of our tomato and onion mixture. There we go. Looks great. The colors, the smells of this are just wonderful. We're going to add our second layer of pasta. Sort of face it the same way you had the first layer. We're going to add our cheese. You can do these ahead of time if you want to spread the cheese on them before you layer them up. Not an issue. Okay, looks great. And we're going to repeat again. Our squash and our zucchini. Our tomatoes and onions. And last but not least, our final layer of pasta. We're not going to put cheese on this one, but we are going to finish up our tomatoes. And we have our fresh basil over here that we put into our cheese mixture. We're going to add to the top. And we're going to sprinkle it just a little bit of our shredded Parmesan cheese. There you have it. No Bake Summer Lasagna featuring squash, zucchini, cherry tomatoes. I'm Chef Joe from Meredith Medical Center. Thanks for watching.